In this video, you're gonna learn how to create a multi-track recording of your worship band. Maybe you wanna create a live worship album, or you want to record yourself for self-analysis, critique, and making progress in your ministry. Either way, the technology has become much more affordable and accessible for creating a high-quality multi-track recording for your worship band. And in this video, I'm gonna walk you through all the gear and software you're gonna need, as well as how to configure it and get it all functioning properly. Coming up. My name is Jake Goslin, the creator of churchfront.com, helping you lead gospel-centered and tech-savvy worship. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of our latest content to help you grow yourself and grow your worship ministry. If you are looking to capture a professional sounding recording of your worship band, then you must capture a multi-track recording. A multi-track recording gives you the ability to capture all the individual vocal and instrument tracks within your worship band. So then, in post-production, you can process those individual tracks and then mix them all together so it sounds professional. You could even send your multi-track recording to a professional mix engineer who then can mix that down to sound professional enough for an album. And thanks to digital mixing consoles becoming much more affordable and accessible for local churches, this is easier than ever to capture a high quality multi-track recording for your band. So here's all the gear and software you're gonna need to get this up and running for your church. First, you're gonna need a digital mixing console. I always recommend going with the Behringer X32 line of digital consoles or the Midas M32 line, but Yamaha, PreSonus, Allen & Heath, all of these different manufacturers create some really affordable, high quality sound consoles for worship ministry. At our church, we use the Midas M32R digital sound console along with the Behringer S32 digital stage box. Having this combination of a console and stage box both being digital makes it so much easier for routing all of our channels and recording them. If you're using the Behringer X32 or Midas M32, here's how you configure the routing options on your console for multi-track recording. The first thing to do on the mixing console is go to the setup section of your settings and then navigate over to the card tab, and then just configure this however you would like. If you need to send out at least 32 channels from the console, just have that top option of 32/32 selected so you can send 32 out of the board and you can also send 32 back into the board. And if you don't need that many channels of audio going in and out, you can select the appropriate option for you. The next step is to go to the routing section of your sound console's settings. Once you get there, you need to navigate to the card out tab. The card output settings are really important to understand. So your digital console is basically an audio interface that has up to 32 channels of inputs or outputs. But what's really cool about these mixing consoles is you can actually assign different groups of channels coming into your sound console to the different card outputs that are gonna be going to your computer. For example, if you had all of your vocal mics and instruments plugged directly into your mixing console into the local XLR inputs on your board, then you would simply just assign those card outputs to be local 1 through 8, local 9 through 16, and so on. So at our church, we plug in all of our vocals and instruments into our stage box. So on the routing options here, it labels the stage box inputs as AES 50, 1 through 8, 9 through 16, and so on. So when I assign the card output to those groups of channels, then basically our computer is going to be capturing just all those inputs going into our stage box, not the inputs going directly into the sound console itself. So it's really important to understand this routing before you move on, because you have to know once you get to your laptop and you're going to pull up this as your input device, you need to know what instrument or what vocal is going into which input. Once you have those settings configured on your mixing console, you're good to go when it comes to the console's end of things. And now let's talk about the computer and recording software. The laptop we use at my church to record is my older MacBook Pro. It's a 2012 MacBook Pro with 16 gigs of RAM, a quad-core processor, and it works just fine. The software we use to capture our recording is ProTools. I found that this combo of this computer and software works great so long as we're not running a whole bunch of plugins within Pro Tools when we're trying to capture 32 channels of audio. The first step is to make sure the computer is plugged into the mixing console via the USB cable. And once it is, your digital mixing console basically becomes this glorified audio interface for your computer. In order for Pro Tools or any other software you're using to be able to capture that audio coming from your sound console, you have to tell Pro Tools that your sound console is going to be your playback device. So in Pro Tools, go to Setup, go to Playback Engine, and then select the mixer for your audio device. The next step within your Pro Tools project is to go ahead and create however many tracks of audio you need. The next thing you need to do is assign all the inputs for the track. So make sure input 1 goes to track 1, input 2 goes to track 2, and so on. And then go ahead and rename all your tracks appropriately. I highly recommend creating a project within Pro Tools that can be your template. So you don't have to do this every single time, but you can open up the template file that has all the tracks, they're all named properly, the input configurations are all there and ready to go. And then all you have to do at the end of the service is save the project as a new file. So before the worship service starts, we make sure all the tracks are record enabled, and then we hit the record arm button in Pro Tools, hit play, and now it is recording multi-track. And at the end of the service, we have a full multi-track recording. Usually I'll just bounce out the sermon audio for the sermon podcast, and then I can decide what I want to do with all the band multi-track audio. So that's how you capture a high quality and professional multi-track recording of your worship band. That's all the gear and software you're gonna need. The key is make sure you have one of the latest digital sound consoles at your church, and then make sure you have a dedicated laptop with a professional digital audio workstation like Pro Tools or Logic or Ableton Live. Some of the newer digital sound consoles give you the ability to record directly to an SD card, which can be awesome. And then at the end of the service, you have an SD card full of just the individual audio tracks from your band. I personally don't mind just recording straight into the computer because it kind of takes one step out of the process. Even if you do record directly to an SD card, you're gonna have to put that in a digital audio workstation anyways to edit it. And I hope by now you have a ton more clarity on how to get this set up and running at your church. I want to invite you to check out worshiptechschool.com, where you're going to find all the essential advice, training, and support you need to build and lead a tech ministry when it comes to audio, video, streaming, lighting, all that tech stuff. We've got you covered in worshiptechschool.com with online courses, an online community, and we give you real-time support with weekly office hours. So visit worshiptechschool.com to learn more and join today. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, smash that thumbs up button and share it with your friends in ministry. You can check out some related content right over here, and don't forget to subscribe to the Churchfront channel so you can continue to receive all of our latest videos to help you grow yourself and grow your worship ministry.